You don't gotta bark at them. The average person looks and they know why they want to drive in a car or fly in a plane or have air conditioning. I mean, I live in Florida. All of Florida is due to air conditioning, right? The entire state wouldn't be here without electricity and HVAC. And that is my contention with regard to digital capital. I think that the world's full of problems, but half of them are economic problems. And if you want to solve your economic problems, solve it with technology, which is egalitarian, utilitarian, right? That is nonpartisan. Because no one can agree on religion and political issues, but they can all agree that they would like to be more powerful, more prosperous, more comfortable, more capable. And generally, the only countries on earth that are anti-technology don't last long. You know, I remember the Japanese, they denied gunpowder. That didn't work well. The Chinese tried to keep guns out of China. That didn't work well either. I mean, eventually, you know, technology is coming to your shores. And if you resist it, you know, your government's going to collapse and your ideology is going to collapse. So I think this is a very straightforward, practical approach to making the world a better place.
Yeah, agreed. I don't think it will be adopted as such. So it'll be interesting to see the war of the powers with different countries taking different approaches. I'm certainly encouraged by Japan. Seems like they're contemplating having a strategic reserve of Bitcoin. That's amazing, especially given the economic troubles that they're having. But here in the US, what do you think about David Sachs? Is he going to be somebody that's in the president's ear, that's pushing this agenda? Have you heard him talk about this issue?
I don't think there's anybody better qualified to do that job than David Sachs. I think he has extraordinary good judgment with regard to economics, human behavior, technology, right, and good intentions for the U.S. and the world. So I think he'll be great, and I think that in general, the leadership that's in the incoming administration is very pro technology, pro freedom, pro property rights, pro entrepreneurial, and pro innovation. So I think that it's a good team, and I'm very optimistic.
Have you spoken to Sachs directly?
I talk to a lot of people, but I don't share what I say, so it's in confidence.
Yeah, very fair. I certainly think we have a sense of how you would be approaching this. What do you think about Japan and what they're doing? Do you think that they'll move forward with that? Do you think that they have any other way out of the situation that they're in? And could Bitcoin be the solution to their whatever 40-year stagnation?
You know, I think that adoption of Bitcoin, it starts with retail, then investors, then small corporations, then larger corporations. I don't think large governments will adopt it first. I think small governments will adopt it, but primarily it'll be adopted at the institutional level next. So, and I don't really think it's even necessary. I mean, I'm not holding my breath for that. I think that there are examples like Metaplanet in Japan that are Metaplanet. I think is the number one stock on the Japanese stock market. They're going to get noticed, and I think people in Japan will start to learn about Bitcoin. But but it'll be a solution for the individuals and the families and the investors, and then it'll be a solution for the companies long before it's a solution for the country. Governments are normally the most conservative actors and the last to move. You know, just like any technology, right? Think about how all technology propagates. Your iPhone, your web browser, your electricity, or whatever. It starts with the, you know, the early adopters, the innovators, and then the small companies and the startup. And the big companies, they dismiss it, and then eventually the big companies get threatened by it, and then they embrace it, and then after that, it ripples into government. But it's government normally when they try to do something, they're a little bit slower than normal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Do you think that the red wave here is going to buck any of that trend in the US? Are we going to see a pretty gross acceleration in adoption of anything innovative, or do you think that we'll get bogged down in the normal quagmire and the traditional system will still make it a slow?
I think that the US is now actually the worldwide leader in digital assets. I mean, we're going to catapult from being, you know, 25, 30% of the way back from the pack, in the middle of the pack. We're going to catapult to number one because most of the rest of the world is fearful of innovation if they're fearful of getting ahead of the US. So even if it's a good idea, like all the ideas I just laid out, I mean, and a digital assets framework is a great idea. I think that other countries would be afraid to adopt a good one if they thought the US was more regressive.